It was just great the way it worked out.
Like Burwit was trying to help you out of the situation, and then you're just like, "No, what are you talking? You're being an idiot." I'm like, "Oh, you are dumb. You are a dumb Viking man."
Stubborn.
Let's just
Viking.
beat on each other until someone stops breathing for a minute, and then it will be fine.
Except no, she wasn't gonna. She was gonna kill you.
Yeah,
She was gonna try.
that wasn't what I was worried about. I was worried about the governors coming in.
That too, as well. Actually, yeah.
So, you guys wanted to go back down into the tavern and just kind of wait and watch, right?
Yep. Yep.
You wait. You know, do you get any food?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be a couple of silver for a meal.
Cool.
And you wait. You never see a tabaxi come down from upstairs.
All right.
Wait
Once,
all the way until the late night when things, don't slow down at all. They just kind of change tone in the tavern. It never comes down.
Okay.
To the extent that
if
you are
guys-
getting tired.
If you guys hear anything, you know what to do. And I'm just gonna act like I'm sort of finishing up and walk out the front of the tavern.
Mhm.
Walk around the side, and I'm gonna.
An idea. Can I try and stealthily set an alarm outside of the door of the tabaxi?
You can try.
Pass without a trace would reach him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, give me a stealth check
normally
for
you
that.
just do it as a ritual, but
Yeah,
guess
if you did it as a ritual, this would be much right. If you cast it as an actual spell, then
you actually be using a spell slot to do this?
yeah, just give me a stealth for that.
Okay.
Cool. You do that. Varric, you're outside. You're invisible around the side of the building. What to do?
Okay, I'm going to start climbing up the other side of the building to get to the balcony.
Give
Third
me an
floor.
acrobatics check.
Probably you're trying to do this stealthily as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Stealth with advantage.
Making sure.
Because there is not only one balcony up on the third floor. There's lots of
Oh, yeah.
balconies. And at this time of night, there's lots of people hanging out on the balconies. Especially because these are the balconies that look out over the sea. Someone who appears to be a bit of a poet is strumming their lute while looking out over the sea and is like singing a little, trying to work out a song, while there is a fairly bored-looking prostitute sitting on the other side of the tavern, of the balcony. So like, when do you want to go back to bed? Yeah, that's like on the balcony beside the one you drop into. When you drop into it, the doors from the balcony to the room are closed and look very firmly locked, actually. It looks like they've been chained up from the inside. And the glass is really dirty. You can very barely see through, but if you want to give me a perception check with disadvantage, you can try.
I will try.
And I mean, a lot of the glass in this place is dirty, but it seems dirtier than that. It's one of those weird, like, trick of the lights that, like, dark vision doesn't work very well through, like, glass and stuff like that. You just can't see through. But you know enough about locks and trying to keep people out that you can tell that, actually, this has been chained up on the other side of the door. Which you can
so
try and
definitely-
lockpick out. But,
Oh, I can.
you can
okay.
try and thieves... You need lockpicking, you would be, getting
Yeah,
little
I
metal
would be
apparatuses
doing-
through and...
I would be doing it like stealthily and taking my time so I don't break everything.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. I'm not going to give you disadvantage for, like, going fast or anything like that.
Now do I just do dexterity because I don't actually have
Yes.
proficiency? Yeah.
Oh, with sleight of hand if you don't have...
Oh,
Skills proficiency.
perfect.
19's pretty good. Again, you have time on your side. You also are amused by listening to this bard strumming away. It's like, and then the conversation being like, "All right, it'll be a gold for another go." And it's like, surely this song is payment enough. It's like, no, it's not. It's like, but I wrote it for you, and stuff like that. And as you manage to use the tools to finagle the chain like off and around on the other side, and then you pull like a fabric under the door to catch the chain as it falls and all that sort of stuff to do it as quiet as possible and open up the door. The tavern room is actually quite large, with a big queen-size bed. And on that bed is just a tabaxi sitting there. It's pretty much as the person described, although he looks unwell at a glance. His eyes just look a little... Maybe tabaxi eyes are always kind of cloudy. They're just kind of distant. And there's a smell... you can give me a perception check about that smell. Seems strange.
Oh, no.
And familiar.
Oh, no.
He smells very strongly of lantern oil. And he's sitting there, and opposite him, kind of where he's looking, on a chest of drawers, is this lantern. It's much fancier than it looked in the engraving, in the scroll, because that was very simplified. But it has these wing-like designs that come off the side. It looks like it was maybe made of brass, but it's very old and the color is faded. But there would have been paint in some areas that you see little chips of in a place. And it's a mechanical-looking lantern. It's very old, but it's mechanical, which you don't often see, but sometimes you do. Actually, you've seen in some giant mechanisms. But it's one of those things like, one of you has lantern and lantern oil, you know. This looks like you could just use like a regular lantern, even though it's very fancy. And on the design, there's very much a the sort of ring that you would hold the lantern by already has a sculpted claw holding it. It's very strange.
He's sitting there.
He's sitting there, kind of just looking like he's looking at it. Very limply. The food that was brought under the door, like several hours ago, is still exactly where it was left, with no changes on it. No, he's not eaten any of it.
Well, this complicates things. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna... Oh, he's not eating or drinking anything, is he? No.
No.
I am going to just grab a silver, copper coin, and throw it into the corner of the room, like just ding into the corner of the room.
His head like snaps to the side, and then he starts looking around. And you actually hear something. It starts speaking in a... And this room is lit up. There are actually lanterns built into this room. And you notice the lanterns flicker in the room as it's looking around. And it will stand up and look around a bit more. It will actually make a perception check. But of course it doesn't see you, because you're invisible and to keep you completely still and all that.
Well, I have an idea. If I cast an illusion, it will break my path without a trace.
Yes.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set myself up with a bag just behind the lantern.
Technically, even though it's just something I only just now realized. Even though you're casting it through an item, you are still concentrating on invisibility. So technically, you can't have both spells up at once. But let's just say that's fine for now. But if you cast another spell, you would pop, essentially, invisibility. Just so you know. Because you're still using your magic to do it. And that's how it works. I didn't even think about it until now.
That's a good point, yeah. Okay, you know what? Oh, I'm just going to use speed as my ally here. Because I figure this guy is got some other stuff up his sleeve.
You want to sleight and hand it?
I'm gonna basically, while he's looking around, I'm gonna wait till he looks away, and then I'm gonna try to just stuff it in the bag, and then as soon as it's in the bag, step of the wind, and I'm zooming right out that fucking window.
Sleight of hand.
Ooh, it's still not too bad. Actually, also, you know what I'm doing? I'm in the bag, opening the normal door, and then heading out the window.
Ah! That's pretty cool. You
Because
do
I have
that,
100 feet of movement in 6 seconds.
you hear, and the tabaxi turns quite creakily. Can you give me a dex save with advantage, please?
Ooh,
You feel
okay.
a tightness in the air, electricity in the air,
Oh,
and
oh.
as you jump off the balcony, a bolt of lightning streaks above your head, but you are
Ooh.
far and away, and you manage to take off and hide
Oh, yeah,
in
I'm
the city.
running. I'm going back to the
You
tavern
would
view.
hear the boom of a lightning bolt.
cracks.
Yeah.
I am kind of. I'm not gonna jump up or anything. I'm not creating.
A lot of
any
people
kind
in the tavern just like look outside, like. "Is it a
Yeah, and then
storm
I'm
today?"
gonna follow that motion, and then I'm gonna say, "Well, that's odd," and I'm gonna turn to Tobias
Must be
and
the
raise
wind.
one eyebrow very quickly, and then go step outside, and
You can both give me perception checks.
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
See the shadow.
Brute, you actually
You
do see Virik skittering away into the dock district. But you
I'm
also
gonna-
see the
yeah.
tabaxi up there in the balcony, who's standing over the balcony,
Yeah.
looking just almost like it's being puppeted. And actually turns and speaks in primordial, a form of primordial, to the lantern, saying, "My brothers, my sisters, we must reclaim the lantern." And then a whispering of that back, and you don't really hear the response. And then it says, "That is true. We no longer need the lantern. All we need is access to Grim." And it limps and drags its way back inside. And then Tobias is like, "What's up, dude?"
Yeah.
Before he does that, I am sending a message to Virik. I was trying really hard not to say Tesh there. To Virik.
Hello? Is this Tesh from the Tesh Tube? I'm an elf.
Hello. Yes.
Hi.
I'm contacting you via the information superhighway.
Yes. No, sending a message to Virik saying they were speaking primordial. They are looking for access to Drip.
You can reply with 25 words or less.
I'm imagining just shit.
Yeah.
But
Shit. Got the lantern. Got the lantern. Heading back to previous tavern. Meet there. Discuss what to do next. Okay, bye.
oh, I love the okay bye. And like, just for flavor's sake, you would feel a warmth in your head as you heard my voice, which is weird. Like you know when you almost have like a little bit of a headache, and you probably feel like it's your sinuses that are just being.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're gonna head back and meet him, obviously giving enough time. It's not like we're immediately hanging back, going back and meeting, but you take your time. You meet back up at the Angry Sea Witch.
Yeah.
You can have the lantern.
So there was something up with him. He was like all blur.
Would I know what the spell puppet is?
You can give me an Arcana check about what you saw.
But I would also say he smelled like.
Because remember that in Jarviskjir, spells are not the same
No.
every way other people cast them. You know that creatures could be
It was.
puppeted by other people. Yeah.
Don't
Could be
I'm
something
not
like that.
assuming that I would know specifics about what it.
But
would
it
be
was, but
anyway.
just so you know, it was talking through the tabaxi as well.
Yeah, and he
It was very clearly
he's
something other.
Also going to say, what do you mean we? There was only one of them.
No, there wasn't. Something was speaking through that tabaxi. It was like something was controlling it. I think
It did
might,
move rather stiffly.
I think, and this is probably bad. The lantern might be sentient.
You all look at the lantern, like on the table.
I just take like a sheet and put it over the lantern.
Virik, something that you notice, and you may have thought differently before, the lantern oil smell is not coming from the lantern. The lantern doesn't smell of anything other than old brass.
Oh, it was coming from him.
It was coming from him.
I will let them know. So, they said that they need access to Durim. Is that the thing we're after?
Yes, they said they don't need the lantern anymore as long as they have access to Drim. Did you notice that May said she was shot by the lantern light?
Yeah. I just sort of hold it up towards a wall.
I don't think that's what she meant. Did her clothing smell like...
Yeah, she'd
lantern
definitely
oil?
been hit by fire.
Okay. And did it smell like lantern oil, specifically?
Mm.
Yes. Okay.
Oh dear. Oh, that's not good. We may want to talk to, I've forgotten his name, the gnome.
You never got his name.
We never got his name.
We maybe want to talk to our employer sooner rather than later, and so he may be able to get in contact with her to warn her.
I don't know that warning her is the right choice.
I mean, we got the lantern. We should bring it back to them.
I'm not suggesting that we don't. I'm suggesting that perhaps lantern oil, the smell of it. You said it was coming from him.
Yeah, quite strongly.
May smelt of lantern oil when I repaired her armor.
Fuck.
Could be coincidence she was hit with lantern light. For all we know, that could have just been a trap. Could be nothing. But it's worth noting.
She didn't have the same sort of like glazed over look though.
Might take time. Might not be something that's activated right away. Might just be a passage.
These control spells, is there a way to break them?
I mean, there are many ways to break many spells. I don't know for sure.
Shit.
What's your next move, party? It's early night. You're all very much feeling the tiredness of, your body wants to go to sleep, but you can push it a bit longer.
Sleep.
Do we rest? Or do we bring the lantern right away? If we bring the lantern right away, it's off our plate. It's his problem to deal with. I don't feel like he is capable of dealing with it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Oh, let's bring it to him and see what he has to say at least.
Should we rest first, or should we bring him the lantern first?
I'm fine. I don't know about you guys, what you want to do.
Let's bring him the lantern first, then we can decide what to do.
All right. Burrow's going to take the lantern with the sheet cloth now over it and keep it wrapped, and he's actually going to like shut. Does it look delicate, or did it look delicate? Because I'm not.
It's a
looking at
pretty big, chunky thing, actually. Some delicate parts of it, but seems like more of the more delicate parts have already rubbed away from time.
Right.
You know.
I'm not chucking it into my bag then, but I'm not being overly
Yeah,
delicate
yeah.
putting it in the bag.
And you head off to the area further into the city where you met that gnome. Funnily enough, when you go down the same alleyways to to that butcher shop with the metal door, or the back of it, May is actually there, eating an apple with a knife, and leaning on the wall, and kind of raises her eyes when she sees you, but doesn't really say anything. The tabby cat is like actually by her feet. Is like rubbing away at her feet.
Does she smell like lantern oil still?
You can give me a perception check.
I would be checking as well. But...
Virik, she smells really nice. But then you realize you just walked up to her and sniffed her. And you're like, oh, is that weird? That feels weird.
That's why I was like, if I roll a 1, this is going to be real awkward.
Virik, she has some quite strong perfume on, but it doesn't seem to be covering the smell of lantern oil. It's most likely just counteracting the smell of the city.
Okay. Good to know. And Bruit's gonna, like, grab Virik back a little bit.
She'll kind of, like, chuckle a bit and be like, you're eager. Happy to see me.
It's been a long night.
Well, I imagine you're here to see the boss.
We are. Where'd you run off to? Just curious.
Home.
Do you have home here in the city, or is it more of a temporary stay thing?
I've been here for 20-odd years. I might as well consider it home, although it's still a room in a tavern.
So temporary, then. Bruit is not actually, like, it's meant to be a joke, but it probably doesn't come across that way.
I can leave at a moment's notice if I have a reason to do so, but no reason has walked into my life.
Bruit's gonna look at Virik and just...
And she, like, tosses the core of the apple, like, into a trash can behind you. It clashes quite loudly.
Yeah. Bruit's giving a dumb old smile to Virik, and then just...
Virik is just still super awkward about the whole thing, because he doesn't know whether he's supposed to say what's going on or not supposed to say what's going on.
Yeah.
So he's just like...
And
secrets and
say,
secrets.
We encountered an incident.
That's vague.
A tabaxi speaking primordial.
From how I've met of them, they tend to know quite a lot of languages.
Wasn't the tabaxi speaking it. It was something speaking it through the tabaxi.
You're talking like a possession.
Something like that. You said you've dealt with demons before.
Well, in some parts of Narashiro, demons walk the streets.
This I don't think was quite a demon, but rather a puppet master of sorts. Someone controlling many minds. More tangible than a demon. Regardless, we'll probably have to end up hunting them, and I'm not exactly keen on that, and you might know a little bit more about their type. Might be
You can
helpful
give me
to have
all
you.
the details you have.
We have to confirm that that's what we're going to be doing first. So we'll have to speak to the boss. But
She
once
will-
we know...
Start wheeling the door out of the way. And the cat, like, whizzes it way back in.
Kitty!
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually what you hear when you come in. It's like, Kitty, you're back. And then, oh, you're also back.
Yeah, and I'll pull out the lantern in the...
Oh, my friend will be very happy. Is that the lantern?
I'm going to untie the sheet that's around it and droop it down to show, and then tie the sheet back up.
It's quite an old thing. I would not have that form of decoration in my home, but some people, they like the older touch.
What's the history around this lantern? If you don't mind my asking, I'm a historian.
From what my friend has told me, it is linked to the downfall of an ancient race, but what isn't, right? He calls it the Lantern of the Vashara. You can give me a Barut, a history check.
That's the time to get it. Honestly.
Deep in the back of your mind, in a part of your mind you're trying to ignore, it sometimes talks to you.
Fuck.
Sometimes affects your dreams. You know what a Vashara is. They betrayed the dragons. And they paid the price. And they were locked away. And they were cursed into a form that could never harm the dragons again. They used to have cities that flew in the sky and power over elemental air to a degree. But now they are cursed and have fiendish forms because that was a fitting fate for them. And it was actually something that Beer Wim had a hand in, as that sort of technology is very easy for him. And this would be after the fall of the elementals. They were locked away, they were cursed, they were given a form, new bodies that had no form, that were simply gas and air.
Oh, okay. Vashara, you said?
That's what my colleague says.
Berwick's going to sit down for a moment. And he's going to sit with the lantern. And he's going to say, just give me a few minutes.
So the lantern is magical. But not as a containment device, but seemingly as a key or a door. But you can feel the energy of that creatures have passed through it, with it being disturbed in some degree or form. Based on what you know of the Vashara, they were cursed and locked away. But so long ago, well, there are places in the world right now that open up into the elemental planes even. Elementals wouldn't be possible on this world without it. So you get the idea, and especially because you've got a natural 20 history check, that maybe if Vashara broke out and then broke the lantern out to let more through. And the goal of the Vashara is to get out into the world and gain form again. And from what you know, their goal to do that is elemental relics, because now they are an elemental creature. They're a form of elemental fiend.
Oh, they will search for what we search for. This is a gate.
Oh, fuck.
Would your friend be terribly upset if I destroyed it?
Yes, you would. Why?
Because it's allowing Vashara through to our world, which could potentially end the world in the same way that the primordial beings are trying to destroy our world right now, which is why we need access to Drim in the first place. This is all very complicated. I'm very sorry. Now, your friend, are they a reasonable person?
Well, they're a lawyer, so no. But I'm sure I could communicate to them. Can you give me a persuasion check, please, Mr. Barut?
Yeah. No.
But you will not be destroying one of his favorite art pieces. But I will be able to tell you how to get to, well, tell you how to meet the architect of Drim.
That would be a start, but if you don't mind, I'd like to meet your friend. To speak with him directly. I understand you don't want me to destroy it. I would like to speak with him for that.
Yes, in the morning.
In the meantime, can you keep this contained? And by that, I mean, can you ensure that there are no Vashara coming out of it?
You will look at May, who is kind of not so subtly in the doorway, and she'll nod and say, "I'll look. I'll keep watch."
The demon will actually hand it to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he is going to quickly just no, I can't tell. Tell how she was when she took it is what I'm looking for.
She gives like a pretty big grin.
Yeah. He's still gonna hand it over.
Yeah.
And he's gonna say, in the morning, come with us.
Whatever you say. Can't have air demons falling out of a lantern. How can we?
I know it sounds incredibly daft.
I come
just
from a
gotta-
city that has spider ladies crawling on most surfaces.
Yes, but claiming a being that has no physical form is going to come out of a lantern that's an ancient relic is a little bit different from that.
You say tomato, I say avocado.
Avocado.
Okay then.
So you're gonna go sleepy sleep?
I suppose so.
I am real worried that leaving that lantern with her was the wrong choice.
As we're walking away, I'm gonna turn to Vieric. How do you feel about spying on her? I would rather trust her. But
I'm all
my
tapped out for today, and I'm pretty sure she would see me if I didn't use any of my special talents.
agreed. Do you trust her?
Her, yes. I'm just worried it's not her.
Likewise. Well, if it isn't, we steal it again. And we do this again. Or we go and find it and we destroy it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go sleep. I'm tired. After sprinting across town.
Yeah, exactly. You can go and you can sleep in your tavern and you wake up well rested. Although maybe the air of the docks are starting to take a toll.
Definitely. I
Burwood is up right early and wakes everybody else up real early so that we can go.
Can you give me perception checks?
fuck. No. No, we can't.
When you get
Oh.
back to where you left May, there's no sign of her. When you open that door, her boss is there and is like, you really do. When I said morning, you really meant morning. Okay.
I mean, the sun is in the sky.
It is morning.
Many gnomes will have different definitions of morning. It's just the way.
That's very interesting. Burwood pulls out his notebook. What would you define as morning then?
Well, and he like pulls a pocket watch out of his like coat, and is like, well, according to this. But then he looks and is like, the lantern. Should take it to my friend. To Baddock.
We gave it to May.
And where is May? Did she not leave with you?
She left on her own.
She's probably still not sleeping. Her kind don't sleep. She's at the tavern with the game. It's quite joyful.
Marble jar.
Oh, the Marble Tavern, yeah.
Good. Well, we'll head that way.
Yeah, and he joins you to walk that way. His cat follows you for a bit before giving up. And you can get up there and get to the Marble Jar Tavern.
Looking for May.
Aye, she's here. Well, assumedly.
Good.
They'll give you like the
Go
room
right.
number.
Yep. Great. Go up. Knock on the door.
There's a bit of a sort of metallic sound for a bit, and then
Do I recognize it?
It sounds like a chain. And she will open the door. She's upside down, suspended with her legs wrapped around a chain that she's attached to the ceiling. And then we'll it seems like the lantern is directly below her when it like kind of dangles back in place. And she kind of wipes her eyes a bit, still upside down. It's like, you really did mean morning.
Always do.
When no one tried to attack in the night, nothing came out of the lantern in the night either. I was keeping an eye on it. I was praying for good luck. Drow are hard to read.
Yeah.
Why are you?
How does she look? Like any signs of like what I saw on the tabaxi of like the eyes?
She doesn't
or,
seem to have
like...
that. Tobias, you said, why are you upside down, right?
Yeah.
This is how I meditate.
Sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Not
We Drow do
something
not sleep.
We've been over that with him hundreds of times. Don't worry. It's
She does that. She like lets go and like flips and lands on her feet and like picks up the lantern. Although she's not that strong, so it's like a crunches it up. It's like, yes, no, they will never understand.
Burwood's gonna hold his hands out for the lantern,
She'll give it to you and then pick
Great.
up her sword.
and I'm gonna wrap it back in a sheet and put it back in my bag.
And
We
then,
may need to be wary. There were people who wanted this. They said that they didn't need it anymore, that they wanted access to Drim. But we should still keep an eye out.
just because they don't need it doesn't mean they don't want it.
Precisely.
He did seem rather ticked off that I took it. Shows like a bit of like burn on the shoulder where he dodged.
Hmm.
Her boss will lead you to much more the middle of the city, where you're pretty much only seeing gnomes. But again, you're not really that weird for not being gnomes. And into an apartment building that is very Art Deco. And we'll straight up like go up the elevator, and it's got like a guy in there working the elevator, and you will go up a bit into an apartment, where in the apartment, a servant will go and grab a gnome that looks a similar age to her boss that is staying there. More grey silver hair, and is in pajamas because apparently it's you very early morning because you're adventurers, and these people are like just regular working women. Is like, what is all this about? Oh, my lantern! My lantern at the Vashara, the prize of my collection. You brought it back to me. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, the place where I left it, it looks so empty without it. The whole room is just quiet without the lantern there.
Looking around the room, do I see anything else that seems to be... And you know what, actually? Just while I'm around, I am going to just...
No, nothing else in here seems magical.
Okay, so this is the only piece.
There's a lot of other art pieces,
Right.
that may or may not be relics. At your immediate eye, you think some of them are fake.
Okay.
The one in your arms is very much real.
Yeah.
But yes.
And I'm still holding it.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm going to say to him, are you aware of the exact history of this?
I know it is linked to the missing race of the Vashara.
The one banished by dragons.
That is a legend, yeah.
It's not a legend. That's the truth. That's what happened.
How could you tell with something so positively? That's why it's thrilling. It could be a story. It could be real.
I'm
reality.
a historian. This is what I do. This is real. And this is the real thing.
Well, then I'm even more glad to have it as part of my collection. And the value of this thing just quintupled.
Unfortunately, it is also a gate.
No, it is a lantern. I
No.
understand translation to common tongue is a little strange.
I'm going to actually. This is something. Burrowit slips into a tongue that he hasn't spoken around you guys before, and that he didn't even necessarily know that he spoke. But he very much says that it is a gateway, and it is dangerous. But he says it in a language that I don't know if anyone.
What is your friend saying? And Mayus is like, your lantern, your art piece, is probably gonna kill everyone, or already has. Either way, you're to blame. So I'll tell the governors that when they come asking around.
Various kind of minor illusion. Lantern, smoky people. Go through the lantern.
And he's like, I'm not to blame. It's just, I have it in an art piece where part of it got stolen. I mean, and to be fair, it got stolen, and there was no evidence of anyone. If it was one of those phantasms you're drawing in the air there, then that would be very. That would be no. Well, the value of this is just gone up even more. An actual functioning gateway to the land of the Sharas.
But it must be destroyed.
It positively cannot be destroyed unless you have the 50,000 gold, and that thing is worth.
That was an arbitrary number, and you know that.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily true worth of it now, but it has gone up in value.
But I am a historian, and I can tell you what the value of this is. This is valued only at 10 gold because of the danger. The inherent danger within it. If you wish to try and charge more than that, you are actually asking for someone to pay for their own death.
You can give me an
What
intimidation
you are
check.
doing there is simply cold-blooded and cruel.
While
With
he's doing
advantage.
that, I'm gonna do, while he's doing that, I'm going to do a minor illusion of the tabaxi casting the lightning behind me. Like this is what it did when I tried to take it.
I don't want anyone to be hurt.
I will give you 50 gold right now, and then I will destroy it.
Can you be sure that you can destroy such a thing like that? I wouldn't want you to waste your magical energies. And,
I will find out a way to destroy it.
Yes.
That is my business.
Yes.
But I will give you 50 gold for your trouble. And you know what? No, I'm feeling generous. I will give you 60 gold for your trouble.
That is not even a fraction of what I. But that is fine. You are correct, sirs. You are. That is. I will accept that.
With that in mind, we will also not report it to the authorities that you were knowingly housing a dangerous object that could have killed the entire.
I didn't know. They.
No, precisely. You didn't necessarily
Yes.
think to look into it.
I would very much appreciate that.
We will not inform them, of course. We will deal with it from here, and you will take this gold as a pittance and for my apologies that I must destroy your art piece. And I will hand him 60 gold.
He looks dejected when you hand him elvish coin.
Oh, I'm giving him human coin.
That's
I'm
even
giving him
worse.
that I got in Slate Cove.
That's
But I will tell him, and I will say that gold was from Slate Cove, a city now destroyed. Perhaps one day, those will be worth 20 times.
It might be a collector's item one day.
And Browett is going to pull out from his notebook a page, and it is a page of information that he has written down, and he will just sign the bottom as Browett Benjamin, and he will hand it to him, and he will say, "For your own collection." And on that sheet of paper is information on primordials and the nature of the primordial distinction and their era's end. It is scrawled notes, and it is not pretty, but it is noted as mine and to him, who's someone who values that kind of stuff to some extent. And then I will say, and furthermore, that information has not yet been shared with anyone else and is to be published within my book, but is not yet done so.
Yes. Very, very good. Good luck with the invasion of phantasms and...
Yes, that will be a delight. And Burwood's going to turn and walk out at this point.
Drum next. Still looking at the others like, now we need to know about Drum.
Yeah, the maze boss is like, considering the urgency, I'll take you right to the architect, right to Anatoly. And while that's happening, you hear May whisper in Gnomish to her boss, and he says no. It's the response.
I am sending a message to Kindle that says, I have a portal here. It is a... sorry, let me formulate the words. I have a gateway... A gateway... Gateway's one word.
Yeah, sure.
Gateway's one word. We're going to fudge it. That will allow the Vishara to return. I need to destroy it. How?
That's a valid question. She says that powerful artifacts cannot always be destroyed in the material world. If your magic can create some force that is something, otherwise banishment, containment, and security.
I'm going to send another sending. I shouldn't have clicked it again. There's no point in that. Anyways, cluttering up the screen.
It's polite. It's a polite thing to do.
Yeah, you know. And I'm going to send back banishment. Can't do that myself. What type of person could do that?
Your best bet is to find a priest. And a really good one at that. Istana is full of arcana tech. You might get lucky.
Burwood's just gonna rub his eyes and say, shit. In Elvish.
And another thing of note, in exploring Istana, you've never seen a single church, which again is slightly weird, but one of those things you wouldn't notice till you think about it.
Yeah.
Not even like a street shrine or anything like this. None of it. And with that shit, I think that's a great place to end off today's session. Because I'm hungry. You know, it's a good D&D thing when everyone's feeling nice and dejected about the stuff they have to deal with.
I'm content with how that went with the collector, but apart from that...
Yeah, that went pretty well.
I love that I finally got to use my just grab it and run tactic.
Yep.
Because I'm like, I have 50 foot of movement.
You're fast.
If I step in the wind, I'm fucking gone.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a good... Oh, good time. But what else is a good time? Why don't you tell me over here in exactly the same dungeon, Dad?
Well, that is I, Dungeon Dad, also known as Josiah, my real name. I have a YouTube channel about Dungeons and Dragons. YouTube.com/c/Dungeon Dad. That's the one. If you like learning about monsters that you didn't know existed, and you want to use them in your game, and have your players be like, "That's not in the monster manual. You're cheating," and then you can be like,
You could say that about nearly everything that shows up in Jarviskjir.
right? Well, that's the thing, is I've always very much treated the monster manual, like the basic stuff, as like the building blocks.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, oh, gnolls are cool, but they can cast fireball now or whatever. But yeah, no, like, yeah, I have a channel about old monsters, cool monsters, monsters you've never conceived of. And I do stat blocks and convert them to 5th edition. And also just general like D&D stuff about running the game, playing the game, all that good stuff. Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. And there's plenty of videos to watch there. The most recent one is about a Gesha Dekuro. which is a giant skeleton.
You always choose
I can't
monsters that
do it.
are very hard to pronounce.
Fuck that thing.
Yeah, right. Well, it's a 15-foot tall skeleton that's completely invisible and makes no sound unless you're within 60 feet of it. So the whole point is, it just follows you and you don't know, and then suddenly it's like, oh, there's a giant skeleton here, and they're kind of crazy because they're formed when a huge population, like a lot of people die of starvation, and the bodies aren't tended to properly. They kind of coalesce into this giant skeleton.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And because it's like starving for blood, it will try to bite your head off and then drink the blood. It's a bad time. Yeah, I did a video all about it. You can watch it, and it's a good time if you're a dungeon master, and a horrible time if you're a player. That's that.
It is good dungeon master material, but good friend material is Tesh. He's a sick boy today.
Yeah. I'm Tesh of the Tesh Tube. I can't even say my name.
You're
Why?
slower than usual.
You can find me under that name on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Twitter is where you want to follow me because that's where I post all the cute animal gifts and stuff. And I'm going to go lie down now. Goodbye.
Yeah. And it's no lie that he's a guy. It's Will N. Graham.
Hello. You can find me
We're all sleepy.
places. Yeah, twitch.tv/WillNGraham now. Same thing on Twitter. Consistency. Crazy.
What?
I know. Absolutely insane. Yeah, not much going on right now because I'm busy writing a book. So I'm here on Sundays. And it's cool. It's a good time, as you saw today, where we do crazy stuff and probably don't die sometimes.
Well, speak for yourself.
No, I am the one who is most likely to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Just accident prone.
Very
Yes.
Someone else who's accident prone is me, but it's no accident that you found yourselves here, the best place for D&D on twitch.tv, twitch.tv/olirant. This show is supported by Patreon, patreon.com/olirant. If you help support it, not only can you get an extra show, a podcast of extra shows that may even have more podcasts later on, you can also help create other characters, and you can help me, just in general, have my job be creating stuff for you. Wouldn't that be freaking nice? As well as illustrations that I do and stuff. I occasionally sketch out characters that have been in the show, and a bunch of characters showed up today. So that's a lot of work for me to do. There's also another Jarviskjir show on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. GMT. Also, usually around 9 or 10 p.m. GMT on any other day. I am streaming art streams and starting Pokemon Let's Go Eevee this week, probably, if I can be bothered, which I can probably be bothered. And all that good stuff. Also, all this stuff is on YouTube if you missed any of it, and if you're watching it on YouTube, I'm watching you. I know. And that's that. We'll see you next week, I think. Well, eventually, probably we'll have some messed up stuff because Christmas and New Year, but let's not worry about that right now. We'll see you later.